Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Retro Seller, where in today's episode we'll be covering this bad boy right here, which is the Arcade1up Ridge Racer cabinet. Now normally this thing goes for $699.99 as it was for sale on the Arcade1up website. Currently, as of December 16th, 2022, which is today's date as I'm recording this, it is unfortunately sold out. But when I got it, which was about a month ago, I actually got it online at Kohl's, believe it or not, for $299. I believe they kind of reduced that price in order to get rid of some inventory before they come out with new cabinets. There was a couple other cabinets that were also for sale for $299, like the Terminator 2 cabinet, and I believe the Simpsons cabinet. But like I said, I got this one for $299, and doesn't seem to be available for that price anywhere anymore. A lot of places it's sold out. You can't even get it at Kohl's anymore. But I have seen it recently at Best Buy for $399, which is still kind of a steal. And Amazon, I've seen it for $562.99. Walmart has it for $774.99. Website called StockX has it for $800, but you can still get it on eBay for anywhere from $400 to $800 if you shop around. But the question is this thing worth it even at $299? We'll get into that as at the end of this after we take a look at it. But what do you get with this thing? You get 5 games on it, one of them being Ridge Racer 1, Ridge Racer 2, which is essentially the same game. You get Ace Driver Victory Lap, and Rave Racer. One thing that this has that a lot of previous models, particularly this Rampage that I got a few years ago, this has Wi-Fi capabilities where you can do updates. And since I actually got it last month, there's actually been 2 updates on it. They also have some online leaderboards on it, which you have to really kick ass on this thing to even place on the leaderboard. I'm sure some people that are watching this have actually done it. I need to get better at racing games in order to achieve that. Well, you'll see when we play it. As far as the packaging, it was pretty nice when it was packed. I was going to record me putting it together, but I was like kind of lazy with it, going in and out and doing it. I just didn't feel like doing a video on it or even a time lapse on it. But it wasn't too bad to put together. I think it took me about maybe an hour and a half to get it done. It's pretty simple. As you see up here on the top, it has something that the older cabinets didn't have, which is a lit up marquee, which is pretty nice. And you just have your basic pieces, your riser that comes with it. It has to come with it because down on the bottom you have the brake and pedal. With most of the cabinets that you get from Arcade1up, you have to pay extra for the riser. But this one, as I said, it came with it. But why don't we take a closer look at this thing and play the games on it and see if you want to fork out any cash to get this cabinet and add it to your collection. So why don't we take a look around the cabinet. As you can see here, this is the light up marquee. It actually looks pretty good in person. It may appear on camera to be a little washed out like it does from a distance, but in person it's not too bad. I've seen reviews of other cabinets with light up marquees where they said it was really washed out, but this one actually isn't too bad. If you look down here, we have the screen, which is a 17-inch LCD screen. It's not too bad. I think the contrast could be a little bit better on it, but it's acceptable. It's about on par with the Rampage cabinet I have. And here is the control deck on it. As you can see, this is the steering wheel. It's actually a good quality steering wheel. I kind of expected that it was going to be a little on the cheap side, but it's actually pretty solid. And it's pretty smooth as well. It also features a rumble pack on it, which for some odd reason doesn't work on the Ridge Racer 1 and 2, but it does on the other 3 games. We have right here, the on and off button. This is the volume button, which you can raise it up in levels. As you can hear it there coming on a little bit, which is much nicer than the Rampage volume feature, which was just low, high, and off. That was it. This is a 2-way shifter, which I've yet to play it using the shifter. I tend to use an automatic, which I will on this as well. I haven't really played it so much. I've been kind of busy. It's, you know, the holiday season and with work. But so when you see me play it, I'm relatively new to the game. So when I crash or slide off the road, that's why. And over on this side, you have the start button, the view button, which changes your perspective on the game. You're either in the car or behind it. Ridge Racer 1 and 2, you're in the car, which I wish you could switch it to behind the car, because that's how I prefer to play racing games, but it's not too bad. This is the live button, which also works as your return to the main menu button, and I believe this is where you can view the leaderboard. And this here is something interesting. This is a headphone jack. Down here you have the pedals to operate the game. This is the gas pedal. Now it's kind of plasticky and it feels a little flimsy. Probably would have been better if it was like diamond plated metal, but it does get the job done. I hear a lot of people have an issue with this, but it's functional for me. And this is the brake pedal, obviously. This is one of the things that kind of bothered me about this cabinet. So the front of it, as you can see, is devoid of any artwork like the Rampage cabinets have. It's not that bad, but what you can do is buy a faux coin slot that's actually lit up that you can put here. I believe you can get it on the Arcade1up website. I think it's like $100. You can also get it on eBay, where people do like a 3D print of it, and all you have to do is kind of like stick it on here. You would drill holes through here and put these LED lights to light up the coin slots, which you then plug into the USB port on the PCB inside. And it fills in this area nicely, makes it look more like an authentic cabinet. So that's something I'll probably get in the future, but I'm not in that much of a hurry because it doesn't bother me that much. So here we have the main menu of Ridge Racer. Here's where, if I logged in via the Wi-Fi, which I haven't yet, is where you would see your leaderboards. So as you can see, I'm not on anything yet. You also have Ridge Racer 2, Ace Driver Victory Lap, and Rave Racer, which I think is probably one of the better games on it. What you also have is, if you're scrolling back and forth, by the way, using the steering wheel, and to navigate up and down, you actually use the shifter. So to go down to here, you have the settings. Press the gas pedal or the start button to get into it. This is where you would do your network settings, restore to factory settings, obviously. Menu sound effects, you can actually turn them off. Here's where you check for updates, but it does it automatically. I got an automatic update today. Here's where you can calibrate the hardware. I didn't actually have to calibrate it at all, so it seems to function just fine. And then where you go back to the main menu. So that's pretty much it for the features on this. Why don't we actually play a game? So let's click on Ridge Racer. And this basically shows you the controls, which I already went through with you.
Ridge Racer. Are you ready?
So here's where you can choose your skill. It automatically chose it for me. We do automatic transmission. It's like the one thing I don't care for about the in the car view is the fact that you can't see how far away you are from the guardrails and the other vehicles. See? So it's hard to judge it. Jesus. I swear I haven't been drinking. So why don't we look at Ridge Racer 2, which is just like Ridge Racer 1.
Ridge Racer 2. Ridge Racer 2.
See, the track is essentially the same with some minor tweaks. And I'm just as good at it. And maybe I should have a little bit of whiskey. Maybe I'll drive better. Now, how about we move to Ace Driver? So here's the view I prefer. That's in the car view. You can switch to. And I don't know if you can hear it, but the rumble feature is now working on the steering wheel. I'm a little better at this. Actually passing cars this time. I think the more I play it, the more I get used to the turns and the track, I'll get better at it. Hopefully. Just gotta play it more often. So why don't we skip over and do Ace Driver Victory Lap, which is probably the same as the other Ace Driver game. See, don't like that view. Don't like that view. Prefer that one. So now why don't we have a look at the final game, which is Rave Racer. As you can see, this is a similar track to the Ridge Racer games. Jeez. Ooh, what was that? So that's basically our look at the Ridge Racer arcade cabinet from Arcade1up. And I guess there isn't really much more to show you other than what we already looked at. And I guess we could wrap this video up. Well, there you have it. That's our look at the Arcade1up Ridge Racer cabinet. So to sum it up, I like it. I may not be very good at it yet, but I promise you I will. Just have to practice at it and get used to the tracks. And I'll make sure that this is a racing game I'm actually good at. So what do I think of it? Like I said, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed playing it. My kids enjoyed playing it. Is it worth the $6.99 that it's going for? Probably not. But then I don't really know that any of the Arcade1ups are really worth that much money. When they first came out, like this Rampage cabinet, this I got for $250. Now they're averaging like $700. You could get some like $400 as they slowly try to clear out their inventory. But they've gone way up in price, and I wouldn't say that the quality went up that much more to warrant how much they're charging for it, other than like the lit up marquees. I mean, the quality of the cabinet itself is similar to the original cabinet as far as quality is concerned. But I think it's worth it for the price that I got it for. Whether or not you're willing to pay $500, $600, $700 for this thing depends on whether or not you really like racing games. I think it looks great here because it added a nice variety to what I have here. You know, your standard arcade kind of game, virtual pinball. I thought this looked good here. I'll probably get a shooter kind of game next if I have room for it. But I like it, and I think it's worth what I paid for it. Other than that, there's nothing more to really say about this cabinet. So please like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.